The preseason is now over for your Chicago Bulls. But on today's episode, I want to talk about, did this preseason provide you, a Bulls fan, with some optimism, or do you believe the Chicago Bulls are still in trouble? Lots to talk about, lots to break down, but before we do, you got to hear the music first on today's episode of Shot Bulls Podcast.
Cognac, gang.
Shot Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another daily episode right here on Shot Boys Podcast. So if you're tuned in, love talking Chicago Bulls basketball, into live calls, into post games, make sure you turn up, tune in, locked in, and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, the Chicago Bulls, they end their preseason with a 3-2 record with some things to take away that were both negative and positive. And if you want to throw in maybe something in a little middle that you might not necessarily feel or have feelings on. So I'm going to ask you all, did the preseason provide you with a sense of optimism for the upcoming season, with our first game being versus Detroit Pistons next week? Or do you still feel the Chicago Bulls are in trouble? Or do you simply just do not care? You just want to see what happens. For the positives, I want to talk about the positives first before we get into the negatives. I want to talk about one person or a couple players that provide me with some type of optimism this upcoming season. That first player is none other than who else? Montes Buzelis. Montes Buzelis this preseason showed me a lot. And be real with you, in that last game that he played last night, Montes Buzelis showed me that he can really insert himself in the most improved player talks. He's going to be a force on the defensive side, blocking shots. He's going to have to get reeled in at times because they're going to be like, all right, man, you're doing too damn much. The game in the bag. It's over. Chill out. But I love the mentality of Montes Buzelis. I think in every single game he scored in double digits, and I always looked at, the box score and seeing that, hey, he got double-digit points. He got a number of rebounds. He's getting more than one block. And then if you actually watch the game, you're looking at that handle for Montes Buzelis. You're looking at that little floating layup that he has going either to the right or the left right now for him. He's also hitting his three-point shots as well, and he's sitting in that chair on the defense. So I'm really, really excited to see Montes Buzelis go out here for the Chicago Bulls and really, really show what he's made of and insert himself in that most improved player conversation. Obviously, we want the young fella to remain healthy. We're going to see what happens this upcoming season, but I honestly feel that Montes Buzelis is going to be a problem for years to come. And I hope that we get to see it on the basketball floor for the Chicago Bulls. And I hope that Montes Buzelis wins most improved player, because it's going to let me know that we found one. And you know what I'm saying? And I believe he's saying the right things. He's doing the right things. He's moving the correct way. So it's going to be awesome to see Montes Buzelis really flourish in a Chicago Bulls uniform versus when we see examples of us trading players away and those said players go on to other teams to do other things. Another player that I'm really positive on is Tre Jones. Tre Jones, outside of one game this preseason, he has been solid. He's been doing everything that you need him to do. He makes smart basketball plays. He had, he's active on the defensive side of the ball. If you need him to generate and run an offense, he can handle the ball and generate that offense for you. And he can provide something going downhill, hit the occasional three-point shot. And on the defensive side, that's a player that you can count on. And I'm excited to have him on my bench for the Chicago Bulls. Another player who did not play last night, but I'm really, really excited for, is Ayo Dosunmu. My guy is just one of those players, hometown kid. So we always gonna rock with my boy, regardless if he here to stay or if he moves on throughout his career to another destination. Ayo Dosunmu this upcoming season, I'm really, really excited to see. And I can't wait to see what he provides coming off the bench for the Chicago Bulls. There has been some discussions, at least amongst us on Shy Bulls podcast in collaboration with Chicago Bulls Central, Hayes, Big Kev, and Steve-O. Hey, would the Chicago Bulls consider starting Ayo Dosunmu? I think it all depends on the matchup. Head coach Billy Donovan has spoke to many different things about Ayo Dosunmu, and he has also spoken to mixing up his starting lineups depending on the team. So that's going to be interesting to see. And I'm really, really excited for him. And I'm not going to necessarily call it a positive, but I'm also anxious to see if my man's Kobe White can come in and provide some type of stability for the Chicago Bulls to where they can see this thing fully come to fruition for their basketball team. Those are just a couple names on for the positive side, but some of the basketball more related things. I love how the Chicago Bulls have competed for the most part of this preseason. I love the pace that they have been playing with. I love the ability to get to the foul line from said players. I love the ability of guys, you know what I'm saying, rising up to the competition, even though it has not always been perfect. I have liked a lot of things that the Chicago Bulls have been doing throughout this offseason. Preseason, excuse me. Nothing has been perfect, but there's a little bits and things that you can take from this. Now I have some things that's in the middle that has me like, I want to see what happens in the regular season. In the regular season. That is Josh Giddey. I'm not even gonna hold you. Josh Giddey, one thing that I liked about Josh Giddey this preseason is that it seems like Josh Giddey has really worked on attacking the basket to get himself to the foul line. I think that'll be huge for the Chicago Bulls, and I think that'll be huge for him as he now works on that contract for the Chicago Bulls for the foreseeable future. Another thing that I like is his three-point shooting. I think that he shot it pretty damn well. You know what I'm saying? As far as just looking at how it looks during the basketball games. And I would encourage Josh Giddey to go out there and make teams pay. If they go under that screen and the offense is a bit stagnant, take that three and see if you can knock it down, because that'll add another wrinkle in how teams will have to defend him and the Chicago Bulls. So I will add that. I have him in the middle for me because the defense is still a little shaky. I'm not expecting Josh Giddey to go out there and be all team defense, but I expect Josh Giddey to be able to hold his own a little bit more or a little bit better. And I want to see more effort on the defensive side. And I also want to be able to see Josh Giddey during the regular season be able to kind of encapsulate what we seen him do the second half of the season. So it's only preseason. Things are moving around a lot. So we'll see. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Another guy that's in the middle is Javon Carter. Catfish. Catfish. Hey, Javon Carter. If you need somebody to come in and chuck them threes and get it going, that's what we see. Hey, he was doing his thing out there this preseason. I'm not necessarily mad at him. And I think that the Chicago Bulls, when they're on a certain night of a game, I think Billy Donovan gonna go to him and be like, yeah, we need a spark. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'll give him that. And then another two players is Dalen Terry and Julia Phillips. I love what they did last night, but I want to see it more on a consistent basis when those guys do receive their opportunity. So we shall see. Now we get to the negatives. Talked about the positives, the middle area. You know what I'm saying? And then now we talk about the negative. The negative for the Chicago Bulls that could potentially provide you with optimism or believe that they're in trouble has been their defense. You see moments to where a player is holding his own, but then you also see moments to where the Chicago Bulls are not in position or making the correct decisions when it's time to rotate. You also see when teams want to get downhill on the Chicago Bulls, you can blow by certain players on the Chicago Bulls, and there's no threat from the center spot to block or deflect shots or change the shot of the offensive player. That is concerning to me. Another thing is the turnovers. The Chicago Bulls this preseason averaged 18 turnovers. 18 turnovers. And now while we talk about how the offense looked for the Chicago Bulls and how the pace was looking good and how they attempted to get their three-point shots and how they attacked the basket, we got to call it how we see it. They need to be better from the three-point line. As a team, they only shot 30%. That ain't good. That ain't good. We have to be better in that department as well. And then the offseason addition of Isaac Okoro, it's been mid to me. I'm not gonna lie. I said it the last two episodes. The offseason edition of Isaac Okoro has been, it ain't left a lot to be desired. If we call it how we see it. That is not to say I'm not gonna give Isaac Okoro some runway. That is not to say that Isaac Okoro cannot or won't be good for the Chicago Bulls, but a player that was pretty much thrown in a trade and supposedly coming in with a chip on his shoulder, it wasn't really impressive. I thought the defense was a little lacking. I thought the three-point shot was going to be there for him. It wasn't really there. And then now he's injured. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, I'm going to allow Isaac Okoro to have a little bit more of a runway before I fully go off on him and say what and bench him or not give him minutes or anything like that. However, preseason wasn't good for him. It wasn't. We didn't see much. I can name about 5 players that had a better preseason than Isaac Okoro. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm saying, but if you want me to name the 5, I'll start off with somebody I feel like he was supposed to be competing against, and that's Patrick Williams. If you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know. I personally believe that Patrick Williams had a better preseason than Isaac Okoro, and that ain't saying much. And then I got Josh Giddey having a better one. I have Montes Buzelis having a better preseason. Ayo Dosunmu, Trey Jones. I'm just saying. I would even argue Dalen Terry had a better preseason than him. like those are discussions that we can have, and it's not to try to pin the players against each other, but it's just to say that this is not the Isaac Okoro we traded for. We traded for a young player to come in here and be impactful. And as of right now, I need to see more from Isaac Okoro. It's nothing wrong with saying we need to see more. So that's why I'm allowing him to have some runway, but it needs to pick up now. Like, we need to get this shit rolling in the right direction. Some more negatives for the preseason for me is that the slow starts. The slow starts drive me nuts, bro. That's 5 games in a row the Chicago Bulls have found themselves down by like 18-7 or 15-6 or 20-8 or something like that. Like, bro, we have to get this thing rolling. You can't continue to put yourself in these positions and then expect to fight and claw and make your way back into these games like that. Sometimes you got to come out and be the motherfucker that punch first. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes we have to be the guy to punch first. Can we go out there? Can we go out here and punch a team right in their mouth first? It's not to say it's not to say that will ultimately help you win the game. You know what I'm saying? Because the Chicago Bulls, we see them fight and claw back in multiple games, but let our presence be felt. What was all the conversation of we're going to be physical? We're going to focus on defense. We have to match physicality. We have to make sure the offense is good. But yet we keep having these slow damn starts. We need to get that nipped in the bud, and we need to make adjustments correctly so we can be humming. You know what I'm saying? As the season goes on, each and every week, we're getting better and better. And then by the time we come out of All-Star break, we're in a good position to go on another 15-5 run. So we can't continue to do this same song with falling behind in games, fighting and clawing in games. We have to be better as a unit. So all in all, with all things considered, how do you feel now? Do you feel like all of those examples provide you with some optimism? Or do you feel like the Chicago Bulls are still mid or still in trouble? For me, I'm going to say it provides a little bit of optimism, but it ain't given. That's just my personal opinion, man. This is why I say I want to see those real basketball games in the regular season. This is why I always say I can't jump off the porch. You know what I'm saying? That make hot takes and go and say the Chicago Bulls are gonna do this simply because that when you line up the good and you line up the bad and even try to play up in the middle, you know what I'm saying, a little bit, it's a seesaw. Cause you be like, damn, the Bulls look good on this and that. But yeah, the turnovers in that slow start, that. And then you got Josh Giddey coming up and all of that, and then you're doing something that like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking gibberish, but I hope y'all understand the point. I'm speaking a little nonsense, but I'm hoping y'all understanding the point. The Chicago Bulls right now have me with a little bit of optimism. If we rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna go about a 6 of optimism. That's where I'm gonna be at. I'm a cheat. I'm a cheat. It don't matter. Let me know where you stand though. But hey, I'm anxious to see the Chicago Bulls team. I'm anxious to see what Monty Buzelis gonna do this season. I'm anxious to see what a couple of these players will look like as we progress and move on through this season, starting off with the Detroit Pistons, and we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens, man. We got 82 games coming up. The first one is next Wednesday, and we're going to be right here turned up live and ready to rock out, man. But hey, that is it from us today, y'all. We appreciate y'all for tuning in into another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. Before y'all get up out of here, let me know your thoughts. Are you feeling more optimistic, or do you feel like the Chicago Bulls are in trouble? Leave those down below for your boy. And we do have our voicemail line open. So if you want to call in and be a part of the mailbag, call in, state your name, leave your take. The number to do so is 773-242-9219. Let us know how you feeling about the Chicago Bulls preseason and give us your thoughts on the upcoming regular season, man. And we'll make sure we get that out as soon as you send that in. But hey, we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all always see red, and y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.